All right, so in this video, let's try to send some information from a Google form to Google Contacts, which should be the same list you have in your Gmail contacts. So I'm not regularly Google Contacts or Gmail user, so if I say something about these things that makes no sense, hopefully nobody's gonna be too upset. But I'm gonna show you the scripting part, how we're gonna add the contacts using a script. So let me just take a quick look. So if we do create a contact, we can create a contact. And then what is this? First name, last name, company, job, phone, email, and show more. Okay, so basically it's just a bunch of information about somebody. Basically, all we're gonna do, we're gonna just keep it like this. We're gonna go to our drive and we're gonna make a form. So we'll just name this. And we'll have the fields we want to be sent to our Google Contacts. So it seems like we're going to ask them for their name, maybe company, maybe email. So let's add a field here. We'll make it required, copy this thing and make it last name. And then there was something like company. Let's do that one too. The email part, I'm not going to do one of these. I will just add this, collect email. So we need to first connect this to a spreadsheet. So I'm going to go to responses and connect to a spreadsheet. I'll just do create a spreadsheet. So there is the spreadsheet that's now connected to this form. It went to the same folder, which is nice. So now let's try to get this information and send it to this contacts. So what we need to do, we're going to open this spreadsheet and go to our script editor under tools. Let's name this something. And I'm going to create a function here. So let's see how we interact with Google Contacts. So probably Contacts app. So here there is what? Create contact. So that's name, last name, and email. Okay, so let's just do this so far. So that returned the contact. I believe that's what it said. So the given name is going to be, let's just try this. So that returned a contact, I believe they said. So let's just create a variable here. So what happens when we open the contact? So we can now add stuff to it. Good. So now we can take that and add a company. And what is the title? There's a company and a title. Let's go check it out. Company. Oh, the job title. Okay. Let's just try to just do the company without the title and see what happens. So let's try to run this and see if that actually adds a contact to our contacts. So that's the function. Run this, do all the permission stuff. Yeah, so apparently that does want you to have the parameter. So in that case, we would do, I guess, something like this and pass an empty string as the title. Or you could have a title, right? But I'm just going to pass that and see what happens. So let me go check my contacts now. Unless that takes a little bit of time. Let's see. Still nothing. So what happens if I just search for John? So when I search, it does show up. And there are two because I ran it twice. One with a company, the other one with no company. Let's open one of these, see what happens. See, this is that company detail. So why isn't it showing up here? Add to contacts. Oh, So now I had to click add to contacts to actually put that in here. Okay, let me go check and see how we can make it happen. So the only thing I can see here is the contact group. Let's try to do this and see what this returns. I'm just going to comment these 2 lines out for now. Let's just do a console log of that contact group to see what that returns. So seems to be 4 objects. So what is the first one? Let's do this get name. So that's system group coworkers. So what's the second one? Family. So system group my contacts appears to be number 3. So it seems to be like we have to add this to this group to have it show up here in this list. So let's try to do that. So we have this contact here on top. See, there's this option add to group, and the group is going to be basically this. All right, so let's run this code again to see what happens. Finally, success. So we had to add it to this group apparently to make it show up here. So now we have John Doe. Okay, let's try one more. Good, so we got it working. So we're able to add a contact now to the group that you need. In this case, I did go through all the groups. There was like 0, 1, 2, I think 0 was coworkers, etc. So you can just do whichever one you like. I'm gonna go with this, my contact. So we're gonna make a function out of this. I'm just gonna call this info. And then we'll just basically treat it as an object. So we'll just say this will be, let's say, the first name. This will be the last name, something like that. Now, if you wanted to do a job title, you could also do one here. I'm just passing an empty string just to do the company right now. But if you wanted the job title, you could just add it to your form, to your questions, and use that too. Now, the way this is going to work, all these column names are going to be a part of that object. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy these names. And basically just pass them to that info that we're looking at. So that info is going to be whatever we get from the form. And we're going to grab different columns from the form, first name, last name, email address, and in this case, also the company. So now we should have a reusable function. So at this point, we need to make sure we have another function that's going to run when we submit a form. So I'm going to create a function like that. And pretty much the job of this function is going to be to run this function. And this function is going to accept a parameter e, which is going to be the event that comes from the form submission. And that e is going to have something that's called name values, if I'm not mistaken. And if I am, I'll go look it up. Now we need this to run when we submit the form. So we're going to trigger that by setting up a trigger. Add a trigger. That's the function, form submitted. And we want to trigger it when we submit the form. Everything else is going to stay as is. I'm going to click save. And here we have to give it the permissions it needs. So this would be the time for me to go submit the form and see if I got this right. So let's open the form. All right, let's go check this out. Do we have a contact or do we have an error? Okay, I cannot see Liz here, so I have to go check what the method is called. So event objects, Google Sheets events, and we have form submit named values. Okay. Not name values. Okay. Let's try this again. So I'm going to go back and resubmit a form. And go check our contacts again. Okay, so basically we got Peter in here. And we could add the phone number, something, whatever else you might need here. I suppose let's do that. Let's add a phone number too, just to show you how to do that. So if we needed to add a phone number, we simply just have to go back to our code and just add that extra stuff to this contact, the C that we've created. So let's see, where's the phone? Add phone. And then you would just do, what does the label mean? Okay, so the number would be the phone number, I guess. But the label would be what? Work phone. So there are different types of phones. Okay, so let's copy that. So we're going to go back here. Let's paste this right in here. That should be fine. Let's see what other type of phones are available other than work phone. Assistant phone, callback phone, apparently home phone. Okay, I see. Let's just do main phone, I guess, for us. It will be the main phone and some phone number. We'll just leave it as is. Save it. So that should allow us to add a phone number. Now, again, we don't want to hard code the phone number. We're going to get the phone number from our form. So we're just going to do this and name this the way we're going to call the field in our Google form. So I'm just going to call it phone, save this, and I'm going to go back to my form and add a field like this. So let's try this. All right, so we got the phone number, the company, all of this. Let's submit this and see what happens. So it looks like we got the person. We have the person, we have the phone number, see, and we have email. Okay, good. That's kind of the overall how we get contacts in. Now, the other thing we would want to add here is to make sure that if somebody submits the form and they have the same email, we could just go and update our old information with this information. So for that, we're going to have to go back. And basically, when the form is submitted to us, this is adding a contact. Now we need to do something like update a contact. Let's just copy paste that. And if we wanted to update a contact, we would have to have the contact. So here is where we actually create the contact right here. But the contact is already going to be created. So we need to get the contact. And we're going to find that contact using their email address. So what we'll do, we'll take the contacts app, get something. Let's try get contact by ID. Is there contact by email, by company, by address, by email address? Oh, this is contacts. That should work. So we're going to find them by their email. So we'll just say email as a variable, which we're going to pass here to our function. So this is returning an array. We're going to assume there's only one. So we're going to grab the first one. And at that point, that should be, I think, a contact. Yeah, it seems that way. So we'll just do this in here and comment this out for a second. So this should allow us to search by that email and find the contact. Now, once we find a contact, now we need to basically update all that information. So we're still going to do the company, but this time we're probably not going to be adding that. We're probably going to be setting that. There is no set company. So I guess we'll just stick with add company and see what happens. So we'll just do add company as it was. And I'm going to keep add phone again as is. I do need to do the first and last name. Okay, so it's a set given name. That's what it's called. And we're going to do that same thing for our last name, which would be, I guess, the family name. And we're going to get that again from that object info. So this is for the first name and this is for the last name right in here, which means at this point, we don't need this. Email, we're going to have the email already. That's how we find this person. Now we need to make sure we only do this if that email is found. So that's why I'm probably not going to send the email here. Instead, I'm going to send the actual contact like this. We're probably not going to also add it to any groups anymore because it's already going to be in some sort of group. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to this. And for just a second, I'll just paste this thing here that I'm going to need. And I'm also just going to copy paste this function over here. So what we need to do, we need to do an if statement. So first, what we're going to do, we're going to basically just take this form values and let's just store it in a variable like this. And then when we have to search and find that person's email, we'll simply just go through that object and search for that email. Let's just not do this 0 yet. This should return an array. Let's call it that. Now, if that's an empty array, so if the length of this is 0, then we'd like to add a new contact. So I'm just going to do an if statement here. Else, we would like to update our contact. And the way we're going to do that, this C, that should be basically the first contact we found in this array. So I'm going to take that contact array and grab the first element, which is the first contact, with that email, and we'll just update that information. So I believe this should work. And here I'm just going to do info because we already have a variable for that. So let me try this form and let's just see what happens. So let's first try to add somebody who's not in the list. So that was sent. Let's go check our contacts. So we got Olivia in here. So adding a new person worked just fine. So I'm going to go back and try to do the same email. And I'm actually going to do that lowercase Olivia for the email to see if that works too. So let's submit and see what happens. So I'm going to go back and hopefully we don't have another Olivia. But I don't see that the info was updated. What happened is that it was added to this. See, there is another company, another phone number. Let me reload this. It says Olivia Perez here, but when I open the actual contact, then it has the names that I just did. So I'm going to go back to this. See here, there was like a set. Now we don't have the contacts, so it doesn't show. This set full name. So let's try to set it to first and last name combined with a space. So that's our full name. We got the company. So apparently when we add, it adds yet another company. Now, how can we change the existing one? Okay, so it seems like we have to get the companies list, get the first one, and set the name to that company instead of just adding another company here. So basically, I'm just gonna take this and put it right in here. And it seems like the same sort of thing is happening with the phone. Okay, so let's test this again. Hopefully this time we're not going to be adding another one to that list. I will have to go back and delete those manually now. So let's save this and try to go back and resubmit Olivia again and see what we get. Okay, hopefully this will go well and we'll be done. Let's try. So that updated the name here. That's good. So that was the full name part. That company name seems to be good now. The phone number, is that the one I did? I think I did something with 999, I thought. The phone number didn't work, or maybe that's what I just did and I didn't realize that. So let me just try this one more time. This is not right. So the phone number does not update. Oh, of course it doesn't. I forgot the period here. So save this, try this one more time. There it is, finally. So we got the information. All of that is updated now. And if we enter somebody else that's not matching any of these emails, it should just basically add a new person. And here's our new person. All right, that should cover what we had to do. So we have the form, we submit the form, it adds. And that should do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.